Hello everyone! How are you guys tonight? Am I appropriately late? I like to be fashionably late. It makes a real entrance, I feel like. Just kidding. I just needed a ton of stuff to get on tonight. So, hi everyone. My name is Brandy. I am with Brushed by Brandy. I'm one of your Dixie Belle Paint brand ambassadors, and I come here live with you guys on the Dixie Belle Paint Facebook page every Thursday evening and paint with you guys. I feel like I need a dramatic entrance. Do you feel that? Should we film an opening scene that plays before? I'm just thinking this out. We'll get right on that. So anyways.
It's not in the budget.
No. Oh, shoot. Okay, maybe next year. Maybe if we cut some people. The kids gotta go.
Like the camera guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll reevaluate how we're spending our money here at Brushed by Brandy.
Can we use Lego figures to do it?
Oh, yeah. You know what? The kids got that animation set where you can pose the guys and take little videos of them.
I think that's what people are chiming in for.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. So anyway, my name is Brandy, and tonight we are going to do some painting. So this is the nightstand set I'm working on. There are two of these, and it's actually a custom order. And I laid a first coat on for you guys, just a really rough first coat. This is by no means the end direction that we're going to go in, but I wanted to show you guys kind of how I'm getting there. So the colors I'm going to be using tonight are, my white is Dixie Belle Fluff, and I chose Fluff because of the Dixie Belle whites. Fluff gets amazing coverage, and it's not a pure white, but it still looks really clean and crisp. So Dixie Belle Fluff for that. And then for my blue, so my customer has a headboard that she bought, and it's a blue velvet headboard. It's this really rich blue. It's absolutely gorgeous, but her headboard is not pure. It wasn't a pure Dixie Belle color. So I took a mixture of Bunker Hill blue and in the navy. So her headboard's not quite as dark as in the navy, but it's not quite as bright as Bunker Hill. So guess what? I mixed them. So we're going to mix them tonight. I know. We're going to mix those for our dark blue, but I'm going to smooth out this transition. This was just my, my rough look here. And let me tell you what's going to go down the center.
Oh, please do.
I know. The suspense is building right now. Okay, so down the center, I have a couple options, and I'm not 100% sure which one will work, so I got them out. But I'm going to use a darker teal. So I got out Peacock, and I got out Antebellum Blue. I'm not sure which one of those bright teals will work, but I'm going to use one of those going into this dark blue, and then that's going to fade a little bit going into my white. And so for that, I got out Sea Glass and the Gulf.
Now, are those listed on the color by number chart?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really going to be painting a giraffe tonight. Just kidding. I'm not that artistic.
Now, there was a thought thrown out there, or an idea thrown out there as far as an entrance video. One, obviously, asking Kristana to assist. But two,
zero
claymation.
Next. Oh, claymation. Wow.
Maybe like some Gumby action.
Wow. You guys really think highly of us.
We're stepping it up.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. You know what I totally forgot is my mixing container that I would...
oh my gosh.
It's always something with you guys. Oh, it's right here.
I can't take you anywhere.
At least I got it close.
Actually, I can take you everywhere.
So...
But nowhere right now, thanks to COVID-19.
Well, it's better now. Our county is actually opening back up. So when I'm mixing colors, and I'm going to mix this color on camera tonight, I will take an old Dixie Belle container. Now this one I didn't bother washing out because the last time I mixed Bunker Hill and in the navy, I just mixed it in a container of Bunker Hill that I had left and added some in the navy to it. This time I need to mix it fresh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh my. Wow. I really don't know what to say.
I don't need your commentary tonight.
Oh my gosh.
In which case, I don't know what you're here for.
Well, I mean, I could be tiling, so I'd rather be here.
I know. Yeah, this is true. Okay. So, I'm going to mix, and I'm going to do a rough 50-50 mixture of the two blues. But I get asked a lot, what are my mixture ratios? I eyeball all
a little
my
bit
mixes.
of with a little bit of
Yes, I can't even promise you that this is going to be exactly 50-50. So here's what I'm going to do. Take my empty container. I'm going to dump in some. This is Bunker Hill Blue. And I'm going to overmix it because I like having custom mixes on hand. So then when I go to use it next time, I don't have to remix it. So I'm mixing way more than I need right now. And now I'm going to dump in some in the navy. It's probably a little less in the navy than the Bunker Hill, because I don't want it to get too dark. And then I'm just using a little spatula and I'm mixing them together. It makes a really pretty, I don't know, what's that, a royal blue, but not quite as royal as cobalt. It's pretty. So I don't have a specific shade that I have to get to. I just know that this is the neighborhood I want to be in. It doesn't have to be anywhere exact. So I'm going to leave this. So that's how I mix. I do some of this and some of that. And then I'll tell you guys the colors, but I usually can't tell you the ratios. I could tell you what, if it's heavier on one, like what I started with. In that case, I started with the Bunker Hill, so I'll guarantee you this color is a little heavier on Bunker Hill than it is in the navy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and the first thing I want to do is, this is my base coat, and I want to sand this a little bit. And a lot of people ask, do you have to sand Dixie Belle? A lot of other brands, you don't have to sand. You don't have to sand anything, but this is what I find gives you the smoothest finished result. So yeah, you don't have to sand it. I just think it's a step that takes a few minutes. Dixie Belle actually, even without sanding it, dries smoother than 90% of the other paints that I've used. Because it's self-leveling and has that built-in top coat. And this one I'm going to sand a little bit more than I usually do. I've got a little bump right here I'm going to sand out. Get that smooth. Feeling it with my hands. I've got another one here. My sandpaper's carrying a little bit of my blue onto my white, but that's okay because everything's getting recoated tonight. So what I'm using to sand it with is actually one of the Surf Prep Rad Pads. So these are available through Dixie Belle, and they're a higher grade sanding pad than the Dixie Belle sanding sponge. So these are more reusable. They're just a higher quality, I think.
Apparently you're a mixologist.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Tiny. Very tiny. So I also like right here, see how I can take my hand with this full pad and I can wrap the curvature of this leg right here. I'm going to go ahead and do the side of it. So right now what these nightstands have on them is they have a base of Dixie Belle Boss. And I put Boss because they are dark wood. They are dark wood, and I'm glad that I did put the Boss because when I was painting this, I didn't seal a part of the interior, and right away it bled.
Sheila said she sanded between each coat.
I do.
And it was buttery smooth.
I sanded
Sheila
between
did.
each coat.
It's not always about you.
It is about me. Sheila is my... Sheila, we're like this right now.
Stabbing each other in the eyeballs?
Yeah. So now I'm going to lay off some of this sanding dust that I created. I'm just going to get a... Although I did want to show you guys, I got some legit tack cloths, like really actual tack cloths, not just a damp rag. But I usually just use a damp rag.
Which is...
More of our custom tie-dye shirts here at Brushed by Brandy. We do offer these for sale. They sell for $89.95 a shirt. 3 easy payments.
3 easy payments of $89.95.
Yeah, exactly. We don't accept payments to get to the $89.95. No.
That's like how whatever site that was, it was selling the dirty jeans, the fashion dirty jeans before, years ago.
Like really legit dirty jeans or just
No.
painted?
Painted.
I'm out. I want the really legit dirty jeans.
Oh, that's a problem. On so many levels. Now I see how we've gotten here.
Okay, so not only am I going to blend this out, it's also going to have some gold leaf running down the center. Because blue and gold, beautiful.
The hey?
So I'm going to look at my colors a little bit. I don't know. I might end up using 3 of these. I might go here. Antebellum's just not as bright. These are a little bit bright, and I want to mix that in down my center. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on some paint. I want to blend this out. So I usually start with water on my second coat. And the reason is because the paint dries with that matte chalky finish. And so just using a little bit of water just will help this second coat glide on a little bit easier. And I'm going to just give myself, I think we're just going to work with one drawer at a time. I don't want to get too carried away. If I try to paint all down here, by the time I get down there, it's going to be dry. Move this stencil back. I'm not just going to put gold leaf on here. I'm going to stencil the gold leaf on. So it has a pattern. So it looks abstract. Remember, everything I do is accidentally on purpose.
Chris wants to know if those will be on sale at the concession stand.
Oh, we have a concession stand now.
Well, actually, the shop. I said stand instead of shop, but I mean we're that legit.
You guys think we're going full Magnolia on you, huh? Like getting some silos or something. No, but I swear that I do have customers who buy stuff just so they can come to my house. Is that weird? This customer actually drove these nightstands out from San Francisco Bay Area, which is a 2.5-hour drive. Drove these out for me to paint them. So I think that's awesome. She found me on Pinterest. So I'm opening up my new container of fluff. Now, when you're opening a container, it's likely to have this skin of paint on the top. Don't try to mix that back in. It's going to mean you always have chunks in your paint. And it's just because the top layer of the paint dries, and that protects the new paint that's underneath it. But just discard that. So I've also found if I shake my paint after I take that out, if I shake it with that in there, it's going to mix that skin into my paint.
To answer June's question, yes, the other one is a mirror image of this.
Yes, it is. It's actually going, so I've got this same thing, but it's going the opposite direction.
Mirror image. Just kind
you
of
want to get all
there.
fancy with your words.
Those big words. Mirror.
Okay, so now I've got my white in here. Now here's one thing with this look. I don't want to brush my white over into the blue right now because I want to keep it pure white. I really don't want that getting muddied up with the blue.
I agree with Chris. No silos, but...
No silos?
No. A wine bar would be good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We don't drink wine, so that would be... I don't know. That would be the least busy wine bar. Okay, so this is another new container. This is the Gulf. And same thing. It's got that skin on the top, and if I would have shaken it brand new, that would have reintegrated into the paint. I would have lumpy paint for forever. Forever and ever and ever.
This white droplet's really bothering me.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And go.
Okay, so I've got a little bit of my pure white on here, and now I'm going to brush in some of these blues.
What's your favorite blending brush?
My favorite blending brush. You guys will notice what I have out tonight are my favorite blending brushes. All of these. Do I want to know?
No, I'm laughing at the brushes.
So I've got out, these are my Dixie Belle Minis, and I love these for laying my paint on, and then I have out some oval mediums, and I'm going to blend my paint with the oval medium. So really 90% of what you see me use from the Dixie Belle brush line is the mini and the oval medium. Those are my go-to brushes. I do use all the others, and I'm glad I have them, because each brush has a place, but for my painting style, this is my bread and butter. I'm going to take just a little bit of my sea glass and start working it over here into my white. I'm going to kind of use a swirling motion. And I want that to just fade into the white. You guys see how pretty that is? And then I'm going to take my oval medium and smooth that out a little bit. Just going to work these small areas at a time. Now I'm going to take another clean brush. Let me see how my peacock is. This is Dixie Belle Peacock. Looks good. I didn't know if it needed to be stirred or not. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of the peacock. Tiny bit. I'm using barely any paint. I don't want to create a big soupy mess. I just want to use these to blend some blues down the center of this. Kind of using a swirling motion. That's just because I want to soften these colors into each other.
Now those brushes, are they synthetic or natural?
These are synthetic bristle brushes. So I usually will paint. I'm going to add a little bit of water because my paint is a little bit dry right here. The blues are starting to dry. But I usually will use a synthetic to paint with. And if I'm using a natural bristle brush, it's usually for waxing or textured looks or things like that. So I'm using a really soft hand right here, and I'm just feathering these blues into each other. Now I'm going to come back and with my Bunker Hill and in the navy mixture, we'll just call this our, I don't know, our dark blue or navy mixture, whatever. And I'm just going to brush it into that peacock a little bit. Now I have these in the frame. I think if I was doing this off camera, I would probably take this out of the frame so that I'm not, everything is making kind of a mess on this next drawer here, and that's not ideal. I'm adding a tiny bit more of the peacock, just so it's nice and apparent. Maybe if I pull this drawer out a little bit. Now I don't want this to be a perfect diagonal stripe, so I'm going to kind of weave it down the front of this here. And you'll notice that weave more, I think, when I do the gold leafing than you will when I'm putting the paint on right now. So this is peacock into my custom navy mixture. It's really, really pretty. Now I'm going to soften this line up in the center here, and I'm going to use the Gulf. Dixie Belle Gulf. So right now I've got a brush for every color out. If you need me tonight, I will be washing brushes.
Sweet.
AKA I'll be assigning Sean to wash my
what?
brushes. He'll come out usually to check on me if I'm out here for too long and say, hey, how are you doing? And that's when I take advantage of him and I say, hey, can you wash these brushes for me? And then he disappears and regrets ever coming out to check on me. This is my brush from the Sea Glass. Little bit of water. I did not add any paint to the brush. I'm just using whatever was on there first. Super soft hand, and I'm just feathering these colors into each other. That is a really pretty gradation of my colors. And then back to my peacock, and I'm going to finish this one up.
That's pretty.
Sure is pretty. So then you can see when I put the gold leaf kind of dripping down this seam right here, in between these golds, you'll see the lighter blue and the darker blue peeking out on the sides. Okay, and of course I need to get up onto my drawer edge. I'm going to take this drawer out. Watch. What? It's got those stops on it.
Oh man.
Yeah, those ones you have to yank at.
Yeah.
But that's a really pretty mixture. Here, I'll leave it up here so you guys can admire it while I'm painting. Totally being modest about it.
You can admire
so
it.
Modest. Okay, now
And tonight's Emmy goes to
me, really? Oh my gosh.
Oh, here, I have a speech prepared.
think...
Yeah. I had no idea.
Oh, there was nobody else entered in the category?
Let me get this scroll out. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, this is my Dixie Belle Fluff. Clean it up on this drawer edge.
Sure is.
I'm going to add a little bit. I want to keep this white nice and crisp. There's a little drip up here on the edge that I didn't like. And if I don't like it, it gots to go. Now I'm going to take my sea glass. Now before I consider this done, I will put all these drawers together and just make sure that my line kind of weaves, you know, so it looks like it's continuous. But I just don't want to paint up onto that unless I need to fix it. This one I think I'm going to do a little bit differently, and I'm going to do them in order. The sea glass, the Gulf. I'm going to use my oval medium.
So your two blues together were in the navy and what?
In the navy and Bunker Hill blue.
Bang, bang.
The two of the darkest blues in the navy and the Bunker Hill. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in the peacock, and then we'll put it into that dark blue. It's probably a little bit easier than trying to piece in the Gulf in the center like I did on the last one. You know, we're figuring it out here as we go. So I'll work it into the Gulf, and now I can come over here, get this wet, and let's put my darker blue on. Making sure I have some water on there. I don't need a thick coat. I've got coverage. This is just my finish coat, so I get my nice smooth paint finish. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't need it for coverage. The paint gets really good coverage in my first coat. Go ahead and get up here on the top of my drawer. I do blend around my drawer edges too, so up here will be blended. And then the peacock. I added a tiny, tiny bit more paint. So I'm using really very little of these paint colors. And I'm going to swirl this out. So that's just so I can pull the paint out into each other. And it makes all these messy brush strokes. And then I can come back and clean up those messy brush strokes from the swirling. Just kind of creates a little bit of a fog into each other.
Looks good. Looks okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I mean, I could probably do better, but...
well, yeah. But not everybody is as talented as I am with painting. So.
Yeah. No. In fact, nobody is that has that kind of talent.
Really, nobody has this kind of talent or lack of.
And let me hit that sea glass one more time.
Be nice to it.
With a little bit of water. It's more of a love pat. It's because I love you, sea glass. So pretty. Can you guys see why I need 5,200 brushes in my collection?
Careful, or I'll get cleanup duty. Yeah.
Yep.
So true.
Oh, Sean, you're here to ask me how I'm
go.
doing. Could you wash these brushes for me?
I'm very busy.
I don't know. Did you expect for me to be like, hey, Sean, you're here to help. You're here to see how I'm doing. Can you put the second coat on for me?
I would really appreciate it if you just stop.
Stop with the talking.
Stop talking.
Just
gonna hang out with 700 of my closest friends.
Just here to look pretty. 700? Please tell me you're lying right now. I think that counter is broken. Gotta roll that back like the odometer in the car.
Wow. That one was pretty good because I got the camera to shake. I'm laughing hard on that one. Nice.
I try. I've been rehearsing that in the bedroom for hours.
Moving on.
So I'm just blending up here on my drawer edge. If you were wondering what I was doing.
I was not. That's why when I say moving on.
And then I take my dry oval medium and I'm going to just blur those colors into each other. That looks pretty good. So let's see how it rolls into our first drawer. Because if they don't, then I've got to fix that transition. So
I don't want to be disappointed.
Okay.
You do have to shove it in a little bit.
Good job.
That's why I had it backed up against the garage door. Yep. Very soft touch. Soft touch. Yes.
All right. See, I'm off. You guys see that? Wow, that's really off too. All right, let's fix that.
I can't even look at you right now. It's ridiculous.
Let's fix that. That was the fluff. This is going to be sea glass. I'm going to have to do another coat of this anyways because where I've blended it doesn't have as good a coverage as I would like. You know what I noticed? My rolling stool, which I love, has now acquired a squeak.
Oh, man.
It is the most obnoxious thing in the world.
What? Sheila, is it really Lynn's birthday?
Happy birthday, Lynn!
Or is it kind of like going to Chevy's and just wanting to get the sombrero?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Sheila and Lynn would never pull that one.
Yeah. They have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Everybody's got one of those sombreros. You all put it out at your yard sale and nobody wants to buy it. Because we all have one too. You know what I'm doing that I don't like is my blend is getting wide. And
I can't hear what you're saying.
It's taking over.
The squeak is bothering me.
It's so annoying, huh? It's bothering me too. Every time I move, it's like...
What is this, the Addams Family front door? Yeah, Aaron says this might be inspired by our pool.
Oh, our pool. Yeah, so my blend, I don't want it to get super wide, and I'm getting really wide with it. So all you people out there who have to redo your blending, don't think I don't do that sometimes too. Okay, I'm going to pull it a little bit back this way because remember I told you I didn't want it to be this perfect diagonal line across down the center of this? Yeah, see my peacock doesn't quite cover up this line right here. I'm going to have to do this 2 coats. If I kept going in a perfect diagonal, I don't know, it just isn't the look that I'm after, but I really like this color combination. It is perfect. And then this is going to carry onto the top, the corner of my top here. We'll have this stripe going across it too. All right, well, at least now it's a continuous line, so that's better.
Is there new sounds?
No, I flung a glob of paint over there. I mean, so I'm pulling the paint colors into each other, my dark blue into my peacock.
So the question is thrown out, how's our pool coming?
Oh my God. Next question, please. Ignore that person. Can you block people while we're on live? Oh, our pool. That pretty, really expensive hole in the ground. No, really, is there another question?
No.
So I'm liking this better. But all I'm doing here is going back and forth with my brushes. I'm kind of bummed I have to do 2 coats of this. I really thought this would be enough with just those 2 paint colors, but I should have just done my first coat blended also. All right.
Yeah, so about our pool, what's going on?
So we built our house this last year. I have to preface that because some people really don't know what the heck we're doing over here. And
I really don't.
I'm going to swirl this a little bit.
So we built a house.
So we built a house this last year. We are putting in a pool right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if you know this, but I've tiled 2 pools.
Oh yeah,
Nah?
both the same.
Throwing that on my resume.
I kind of like the swirling. Actually, it's a little stormy looking.
So about the pool.
So Sean went out to our pool. We were supposed to get plaster in it.
We would have had plaster started today.
And he noticed that the tile that we had installed had a haze. It had a white haze around it, like.
But on the back side of it, not on the surface.
Yeah, underneath the tile. It had started, and it was only where it was next to where it had been grouted. So it was almost, I'm swirling, you guys, because I like the swirling. I actually like the effect that it's giving. I'm going to go with that. Swirling these colors into each other a little bit more. See, figuring it out as we go. That's our motto here at Brush by Brandy.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the tile had reacted with the grout, and it was appropriate pool grout. So we contacted where the tile came from. It's pool tile, and they determined that it was a flaw in the tile because we used all the products you're supposed to use. That we hired a DIY pool company, and they feed you everything.
Contractors, people to use to do different.
So this was all done, you know, the way we were instructed to do it with. So as soon as they told us, okay, we'll refund everything, we're gonna have to replace the tile, we had the tile ripped out. Ripped all of our brand new pool tile out. Because it's easier to rip out now than when the water goes in. So we ripped all the tile out, and
I like how you referenced that we had it ripped out.
I did have it ripped out.
Oh, look, Pamela threw out, was it Bedrosians? No, it was not.
No, actually,
that was our.
I was out there today. I was out at Bedrosians is a high-end tile store. No, that's not where we got it from, actually. I got grout from them, new grout from them today.
So anyway.
This is really pretty though. I know I'm working this a lot. You guys are seeing me work this a lot. I'm going back and forth between all my brushes, but I'm loving this look. So it may take me a while to get here, but we have arrived. I'm definitely going with the swirling. Pulling these colors into each other a little bit. I'm going to need another coat down here because it was white. The white came over further. So it's not covering. So I'm going to let that dry before I try to perfect it. This is the Gulf. Let's go in with our sea glass. Tiny bit of paint is all I'm adding.
So you do that and I'll talk tile.
Yeah, so anyway, so we picked a new tile. But then they didn't have enough locally to do our pool, and we were kind of in a hurry because they're supposed to put the plaster in the pool, right? So we had to drive, me and the kids drove 5 hours round trip on, what day was that, Monday? Yes. Monday, yeah, Monday. We drove 5 hours round trip to the San Francisco Bay Area to pick up the rest of the tile that we needed. So we got all the tile that we needed, and now Sean is in the mad dash to install said tile.
Because you have to let tile dry, then you have to let the grout dry for so long. And the other fun parts to this is, yeah, she hired me to rip it out. Yeah, what a hell of a fee. So.
Well, I'll tell you the part that I played in it all. While he's ripping out this gorgeous, really expensive tile, I'm crying.
Oh, that's your part?
Yeah, that was what I did. And I can't throw anything away, so I sat there and I like cleaned all the tile off and we end up giving them away, but so that I couldn't just throw all this tile in the garbage. They came off in one piece, but it just, you know, we can't use them, but so we gave them to somebody who could. But I sat there and cleaned off all the tile.
So basically working my day job and then going and spending the nights in the pool to jackhammer, to get everything set and get it ready to go. But so also having to coordinate efforts to weather, obviously
it's
plays
raining.
a part.
It's raining here now. Yeah, we got rain, so that helped out a ton.
So we have plaster, obviously you need that to dry, but water truck. So we have to have water delivered that it's so much. So it's this crazy dance and coordination to get everybody together. When we delayed
the plaster, we had to delay the water truck. So anyways, this is all done. We've done all this. And the new plaster is supposed to go in on Tuesday now.
Thursday.
Sorry,
yes.
It was Tuesday, but then it's raining.
So Thursday, Friday, they come back and they acid wash it. And Friday, the water truck shows up and we start filling.
I'm sorry, but this is beautiful.
I really don't want to talk about it. This is not always about you.
That's gorgeous.
That is gorgeous.
That is gorgeous. Okay, I want to apologize to my customer because I'm not getting these back to you. So, my paint is wet. I can't do this right now, but here's what I plan to do. I'm going to take a stencil. And I'm going to stencil with gold leaf adhesive size. It's called adhesive size. So I'm going to take this. I wish I could do it right now, but it's too wet. And I'm going to pounce it on here through my stencil. And it's going to get progressively wider as I go down. And I'm going to stencil this pattern in gold leaf going down the front through the center of this line right here until it gets heavy kind of down in this corner. Are you guys with me? Everyone sees where I'm going? So I love the front of that. I'm going to come over and my sides are solid. So this side is solid blue, the other side is my solid white. I'm just going to add a little spritz of water. Nice long strokes so that I get smooth coverage. Using my water. There is an art to just getting a smooth, even coat of paint. So I got my surface nice and wet. And now I'm going to get coverage. And it doesn't matter if I brush it on like this and sideways and however I want, because I'm going to come back at the end and clean up all these brush strokes. And then Dixie Belle's a self-leveling paint. So if I give it these nice, smooth, even brush strokes, the paint does the rest of the work for me. This is my mixture of Bunker Hill Blue and In the Navy that I'm putting on the side here. It's a rough 50-50 mixture. I'm going to get down here onto this leg. Get this leg down here.
You know the name of the stencil?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's on my last piece that I just did. It's got the name of it on there. It's not printed on here anywhere. All right, Prima retailers. It's a redesign with Prima stencil. I can't think of the name. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'll have to look it up when I get off. Unless any Prima retailers know the name of that stencil. All right, that is my general paint finish. So when you see this next, I will have put the gold leaf down the front. I'm going to go ahead and get the other nightstand to match this. But my colors that I used, I've got my mix of Bunker Hill Blue and In the Navy, into Peacock, the Gulf, Sea Glass, and Fluff. And I used that little bit of swirling motion in there just to give it a little bit of a stormy look. So I'm going to keep that going up. So what do you guys think? I'm thrilled with it. I think it's beautiful. I'm thrilled with it. I think she's going to love it. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go ahead and get off Tonight I will be washing brushes because I use, let's see. So far I have dirtied 5 Dixie Belle minis and an oval medium. So 6 brushes I have dirtied. And that's 1 for each color plus my oval medium for blending. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I love Thursday evenings with you guys. And you can find me on Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I am at Brushed by Brandy. I put my link above in the post, and I always appreciate purchases made through my link. I make a small percentage off sales through there, so that's what pays for me to come on and make these videos for you guys every week. You can also use that link to find a retailer near you. So I know our county is opening back up from our quarantine, and a lot of our retailers are going to be opening their shops again. So find your local retailer. You can get the paint there or online through my affiliate link. But you guys have a great week. I will get these photographed for you guys probably next week. We'll have them done. But thanks for hanging out with me on another fun Thursday. Good night, everyone.